conversation over lunch about what happened. Okay, good. So, did it pique your curiosity? Right? Like why, right? How did that happen?
Why is this on my
So there's much science to this, right? There's much explanation. Mine is not going to be scientific. Tonight we're going to hear a little bit, 30 minutes from Dr. Bruce Lipton, who does great at describing the science on biology of belief. And he's an epigeneticist. He's a geneticist. Started with stem cell in the 1960s. And he understands that the cell takes shape depending on the environment in which it lives. So he's transforming our understanding of genetics, which gave us this belief that we're kind of doomed. We're wired in our genes for thousands of things, right? How we behave, our actions, certainly our health. It's like it's all predetermined. We just check, see if we have the gene, and then, well, oh well, so sorry, I got it. And he's going, wait a minute, no. The genes take shape depending on their environment, and guess what? The environment has to do with what we eat and what we think. We are what we eat, we are what we think. Based on what we did, let me just tell you a few things ways in which it impacts my life and for you to consider. For the news, I don't engage in the news. I hear the news. I don't engage in it. There's a lot of fear-mongering out there to raise fear. I can't step into it because it depletes my energy. I may make decisions based on what I hear that's different than stepping into the energy of it. You remain neutral. I remain neutral. Just as we asked Debbie, go neutral, go to your mountain. A lot of the time. Because there's so much craziness around me, around all of us, that we need to go to our mountain and stay neutral. We observe and we can feel things, but we don't engage in the drama of it. I don't gossip. Very little. I used to gossip. I used to set up what I wanted to happen at a meeting before the meeting. I would be outrageously critical after the meetings. I mean, I was an advocate, like with machetes, and I got a lot done. We passed legislation, we opened doors for people with disabilities across the state of Florida, across the country, in many, many powerful ways. But I shrunk. The lion in me, all of that was shrinking as well, I mean, I was the lion, I was in my power, I got a lot done, but there were other aspects of myself that were not thriving, right? The really love for myself and for others and the harmony and the balance of my life was not in place. In 1 year, I lost my home, my husband, my marriage, and my daughter. It all went up in smoke. I mean, 1 year it went. And in falling in that heat, I began to heal and find myself, and I had to dig in. My daughter died, I would say alone at night, in the middle of the night by herself in our home. So I was the advocate, the lion that didn't protect her own den in my own eyes. Those things are already written. It's destiny. Those things are already done, decided on way before the moment. I'll tell you that. That is my strong, strong belief. But what it did for me is that I had to go in and really change the beliefs that I had about myself. And one of them is that things that happen outside of myself are my fault. Something we get stuck with as with children. I realized I had to go in, and in order to heal from the guilt and remorse of the way in which my daughter died, unexpectedly, in my own home, that I had to clear myself of this guilt and an old belief. And I cleared that one, and I realized I had to go back in time. And that's what energy is, because what's up for us at the moment, I'm an energy medicine practitioner, what I see on the field, I became a seer. So I can see your field, like in like somewhat of an altered state. I can see the grid, and I can see where there's pockets of stuff, of dark energy. Guilt, shame, remorse, fear, that's all dark. It's all on our field, and it blocks and kind of grows in sludge. I see the sludge in our chakras. Chinese Medicine 101. Watch for it tomorrow at Family Cafe if you want to get a sense of more about this. So it's in our chakras, which are energy vortexes. We have 7 of them that run up and down our bodies. And it gets stuck in there. It gets sludgy. It's a source of illness and disease. So what I do with my clients is I help them reshape their beliefs. Because I can see what's the wound, and then I see the contract, the old belief that we've got from that wound. So, and one healing that I was doing, actually it was back pain, that I knew had to do with grief. Because now my son was going off to college, 2005. I started with a chronic back pain. And I had been reading about this much later, this was only like 3 or 4 years ago, about this truth. We have issues in our tissues because feelings buried alive never die. They're in this energy field, right? They're trapped. And part of the trapping are beliefs. So as I was being worked on by a body worker, energy healer worker that does body work, breathing, focusing in, focusing on where the pain is, where it's moving in my body, just kind of moving my arm, boa. I was 2.5 standing in front of my grandfather's casket. I've never remembered his funeral. I knew where my mother, my brother, where we were all there. And this casket looked huge. What is that? My grandfather was my father for me. My parents were very young, 16 and 19. I was the second child. No, well, my time was 19 and 21, but I was the second child. So they were very young. So my grandfather did what, he could do that, and our parents can't do it. So there he was. So my grief with my son, my fear and my panic of my son going off to college, of course had to do with my daughter who had already been gone for many years. But lo and behold, you keep winding that back. And then you pull it all out. And what we want to do right now, because I want to do this for you, is I want you to think about a belief that you know you have about yourself, that has got you stuck. Maybe you can think about those qualities, those emerging qualities, and think of the possibility if you were walking those, walking and talking those, if you fully embrace those. Maybe one way to get at it. What would your life be like? You see the possibilities of it. Then you get motivated and go, wow, but what's stopping me? I feel small. I worked on that one for a long time. I was a little child. I was like, lots of reasons, lots of stories that I felt small, insignificant. If I said something, I was so rude. We had a lot of ridicule in my family. Joking ridicule. Everybody had a big joke about something. But ridicule is ridicule when you're a child. And so I watched my voice because it was not safe to speak up. So I want you to find yours. Find one right now. Just think about it. And we're going to do something very powerful. We're going to shift it. So how many people have a belief they know that's a negative tape going on in their head that they could work with? Okay? So, I'm not good enough. We have an affirming belief. I have everything I need to succeed. There's the opposite, right? There's the opposite. So, we're going to ask for a volunteer to come up. You don't have to share your negative, your limiting belief, but if there's a volunteer who can come. Right there. Let's do a muscle test just to get a baseline. Right? Strong? Oh, really strong. Okay, great. So, run your negative tape that has to do with your negative, just inside your head. Okay, keep running. Okay. All right, be strong. Okay, all right, have a seat. So, we're going to, now I want you to state it in an affirmative way. What do you want it to be instead?
That I can be a strong and independent person without
Okay. And I'm missing the mic. I'm missing the mic. Okay, go ahead.
that I can be an independent and strong woman on my own.
Okay. Now turn that into I am.
I am an independent, strong, and courageous woman.
All right. Did you hear just the change in voice? The powerfulness of the I am. Okay. Great. All right. Now I want you to turn to your partner, and I want you to check in with your partner on an affirmative belief that you want to work on. So it's an I am statement, and that they feel that it is an affirmative belief. So go ahead and do that now. Check in next door with someone and make it affirmative belief.
Supposed to be an I am, but yeah, sure.